Hark, seeker of hidden truths, and welcome. Draw near, for you stand upon the precipice of a grand unfolding, a journey into the heart of mysteries whispered since the dawn of thought. We bid you enter the Scholar's Grimoire, the inaugural chapter and grand vestibule to our 20-part series, Whispers from the Veil, an Esoteric Curriculum. Here within this sanctum of inquiry, we shall turn the first page of a tome bound not in leather, but in the very fabric of existence, its script penned in starlight and shadow. This series is an invitation, a call to those who feel the subtle pull of the unseen, who sense that the mundane world is but a painted curtain before a stage of profound and numinous reality. Before we embark, let us attune our minds to the very language we shall speak, the foundational lexicon of our shared exploration. What then is this esotericism we purpose to study? The term itself, derived from the Greek esoterikos, meaning within, points to its core nature. Esotericism is not a single doctrine, but a vast and ancient stream of thought, a confluence of philosophies, spiritual traditions, and occult sciences concerned with the inner, hidden, or secret nature of reality. It posits that beyond the world perceived by our five senses lies a subtler, more profound reality, a spiritual cosmos accessible not through ordinary means, but through initiation, study, and the disciplined refinement of consciousness. It is the pursuit of gnosis, a direct experiential knowledge of the divine, as opposed to pistis, which is mere faith or belief. This is the fundamental quest that unites the disparate paths of the hermeticist, the Gnostic, the alchemist, and the Kabbalist. These traditions, though varied in their expression, often share a set of core tenets. One such cornerstone is the doctrine of correspondences, most famously encapsulated in the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. This principle suggests a sacred sympathy, a mirrored relationship between the macrocosm, the grand universe, the celestial spheres, the divine, and the microcosm, which is the individual human being. To study the stars is to study the soul. To understand the elements of nature is to understand the constituents of one's own inner being. The cosmos is not a cold, mechanistic void, but a living, intelligent organism, and we are not separate from it, but integral, resonant parts of its magnificent, intricate design. Another vital concept is that of living nature. The esoteric worldview sees the universe not as inert matter governed by blind physical laws, but as a being imbued with consciousness, soul, and spirit. From the smallest crystal to the most distant star, all of existence is perceived as participating in a great chain of being, a hierarchy of life and intelligence. This vision allows for the existence of non-physical entities, angelic intelligences, and elemental spirits, not as superstitions, but as integral components of a richly populated and multi-layered cosmos. The esotericist seeks to understand these unseen forces and to work in harmony with them, recognizing that humanity holds a unique and mediatorial place within this cosmic order. Our curriculum, Whispers from the Veil, is structured to guide you step by deliberate step through the labyrinthine corridors of these ancient arts. We shall not merely recite dusty facts. We shall endeavor to ignite the spark of understanding, to transform information into living wisdom. Over the course of 20 installments, we will traverse the winding paths of Western esotericism, charting its history, decoding its symbols, and engaging with its transformative practices. We will begin with the symbolic language of the soul and then ascend through the planes of existence, exploring ever more subtle and profound mysteries. This series is your grimoire, a book of shadows and light waiting to be filled with your own insights and experiences. We shall delve into the rich symbolism of alchemy, not as a crude attempt to make physical gold, but as a profound allegory for spiritual transmutation, the refinement of the leaden, unawakened soul into the incorruptible gold of enlightenment. We will navigate the intricate pathways of the Kabbalistic tree of life, understanding it as a map of both the cosmos and the human consciousness, a guide for the soul's ascent back to its divine source. We will listen for the echoes of the Gnostics, who taught that we are divine sparks trapped in a material world, and that salvation comes through the liberating power of gnosis, the inner knowing of our true celestial origin. We will also explore the practical arts, the tools through which the scholar becomes the practitioner. Divinatory systems like astrology and scrying will be examined not as mere fortune-telling, but as sacred sciences for understanding the subtle currents of time and fate, and for entering into a dialogue with the greater intelligence of the cosmos. Ceremonial magic, often misunderstood and maligned, will be presented in its true light. As a form of spiritual technology, a theurgy, or godwork, designed to purify the magician's own being and to facilitate communion with the divine. We shall see that the wands, cups, and pentacles are not theatrical props, but psychological keys and cosmic antennae, focusing the will and imagination to enact change in conformity with a higher purpose. Be forewarned, this path is not for the intellectually timid or the spiritually complacent. It demands courage, for it requires you to question your most fundamental assumptions about yourself and the world. It demands discipline, for the work of the soul is the most arduous and exacting labor there is. And it demands an open heart, for the greatest secrets of the universe are revealed not to the clever mind, but to the soul that approaches in a state of reverence, wonder, and love. The esoteric path is, in essence, a process of initiation, a series of symbolic deaths and rebirths, where old limited identities are shed to make way for a more expansive and authentic self to emerge. As we conclude this introduction, this opening of the grimoire, let your mind rest upon the journey that awaits. We have stood at the threshold and defined our terms. We have glimpsed the vast and wondrous landscape we are to explore together. Think of this series as a key, forged to unlock chambers within your own mind, chambers you may not have known existed. The knowledge contained herein is not an end in itself, but a means to self-knowledge, to spiritual awakening, and to a more conscious and meaningful participation in the great cosmic drama. Prepare yourself, for our very next step will take us into the vibrant and storied world of the cards. In our next installment, the first true lesson of our curriculum, we shall begin our ascent with Tarot's tapestry, archetypes, and the major arcana. There, we will uncover how a simple deck of 78 cards becomes a profound mirror of the soul's journey, a portable temple of archetypal wisdom. The Fool is poised at the edge of the cliff, ready to take that first fateful step. We invite you to step with him. Until that time, may your curiosity be your compass and your intuition your guide. The veil is thin, and the whispers have already begun.